Jason, are we going to $100 oil?
Well, Francine, I think there's a real possibility of that, and it's really going to be primarily dependent on whether all the supply risks that appear to be emerging all come together at the same time. If Venezuelan production keeps falling, Iranian sanctions are put into place, and Permian Basin barrels have some interruptions because of pipelines, it's a real possibility we see 100.
Okay, what happens, Jason, when we hit 100? Do shale producers come back online with full force, or does it mean that actually some of the emerging markets and the U.S. consume less oil?
Well, I certainly would be concerned about demand if we do go back to $100 oil. I think that the robust demand that we've seen the last 3 or 4 years would certainly start to slow down. In terms of U.S. producers, I would point again to we're having some real logistical constraints in the Permian Basin right now that would really prevent the U.S. from responding fully to that type of a price signal, at least until the last part of the last half of 2019.
Okay, what will the impact of President Trump's withdrawal from Iran be on Iranian oil?
Well, there's essentially a 180-day time frame to allow the industry to adjust. I would expect that when you get to the end of that time frame, that we'll see at least 1 million barrels a day of Iranian exports drop away. But I do expect that before the sanctions actually become formal at that point, that we start to see refineries switching their crude slates away from Iranian crude. So I would say that by October, there could be 500,000 barrels a day of Iranian exports off the market.
What does that mean for the Saudis? So, Jason, if you look at, the OPEC-Russia deal, do the Saudis step in, raise output to make up for the lost Iranian oil?
The Saudis have made overtures to the market that they will ensure that the market is adequately supplied. So I think we'll probably learn more on June 22nd at the next OPEC meeting. I would expect that they will come in to at least partially replace the lost Iranian exports. I think the issue then becomes if the Saudis have ramped up their production, there's really no spare capacity within the worldwide system.
Jason, do you know what price the Russians and the Saudis are targeting? Could it also be the end of the supply cuts from OPEC Russia?
Well, there's theoretically not a target price. What they have targeted is a rebalancing of the market. I would say they have more than achieved that at this point. So I think there is a real possibility that on June 22nd, that OPEC and Russia come out with a message that they have achieved their targets and that they will start to relieve some of the production cuts that have been in place.